Benedict, you know better. If I hear the word pinnacle out in the real world somewhere, I'm gonna laugh. Hey, it's your girl Bri. Welcome back to me trying to vlog every day of 2026. Happy Sunday. Happy Bridgerton Sunday. We made it. I am ready to talk all things Bridgerton. There's no update that I can give you for the day. What I did today, all I did today was rewatch the full season of Bridgerton. I know I said I only have to watch the last 2 episodes. No, I rewatched the whole thing again today. I sat in bed and I watched it the whole day. And my face is a little red. I actually wore my, so if you follow me on Instagram, hopefully you do, this is a dress that I have on in my profile picture. This is also the dress that I used to film my TikTok when I was excited about Bridgerton Part 1 coming back for Season 4. And I wore this to one of my best friend's weddings. It makes me feel the most Bridgerton, so I wore this today. To talk about all things Bridgerton as promised. So I wasn't sure. I'm just gonna spoil it because I think you could listen. I am gonna spoil it. This whole season I'm about to spoil. So if you did not listen to what I've been saying the last couple days and you haven't finished watching Bridgerton, exit the video now. I will understand. You can come back and watch when you are done watching. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it. I think I'm gonna title this Bridgerton Season 4, My Thoughts, or something like that, so you know that this is a review. This is not a spoiler-free commentary on this. I'm telling you everything I thought about everything that happened, okay? So, if you have watched it, you can stay. If you have not, you gotta leave, okay? Unless you want, I don't want to hear nothing in the comments about, oh, you spoiled it. No, I didn't, because I told you right now. Okay, so I wasn't sure how I wanted to go about this. I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk like character to character, and I probably will at some point, or if I wanted to go episode by episode. I'm going to do a combination of both. What I will say is in my thumbnail, I think I'm doing like thumbs up, thumbs down, trying to like say I don't like, so I don't spoil what I thought about it. But I will say right now, in the very beginning of this video, by far, best season. So for me, I love all the seasons for different reasons. I love all the characters for different reasons. There's something good about every season. Queen Charlotte's story, which is not officially in the Bridgerton like seasonal lineup, has been my favorite so far, hands down. Charlotte and George, chef's kiss. There is nothing more heart-wrenching than the scene where she's asking him, do you love me? I could recite that from memory. It makes me cry thinking about it. I think about it on a daily basis. I'm not joking. So that has been my grading for all of the seasons. I loved season 1. It was the beginning. Going back now, I would say season 1 is not my favorite. I would probably rank that maybe the lowest out of all the current seasons. I'd rank season 1 the bottom, and then I still love it. That's not to say I don't love it, but it's not my favorite out of the ones that have happened so far. So season 1, and then it would go season 3. I love Colin and Penn, but and then season 2, I love Kate and Anthony. I freaking love that enemies to lovers, the yearning, all that. Oh. I freaking love it. They're number 2. And then for me, it's always been Queen Charlotte. Right now, Queen Charlotte and season 4 are like this in my brain. The amount of times that I cried while watching this is unholy. Like, I cried for no reason. I cried about everything. I cried about Lady Danbury and Queen Charlotte. I'm gonna cry now. I cried every time Benedict, who is my favorite Bridgerton brother, I cried every time he even looked remotely sad. The part with them in the conservatory, I cried. I bawled. When he was like, please don't say it was a mistake. I could not. I cannot. Anytime he's sad, I can't take it. You don't understand. I couldn't take it, okay? I cried about everything with Sophie. I think Yerenha was perfection. She's perfect. I have no notes. Okay? But the reason this season was my favorite is because not only did they focus on Benedict and Sophie story, which was pitch perfect. I loved every minute of it, except when he said, "Be my mistress." I wanted to smack the ever-loving crap out of him. Benedict, you know better. Except for that part. But, I did love that part too, but I did scream a little bit. I loved all of the other... Oh, what I wanted to say about Benedict and Sophie, you know what it reminded me of so much is not just Cinderella, but specifically Ever After, which is the like 90s adaptation that came out with Drew Barrymore and Angelica Houston. I love that movie. It's actually my favorite Cinderella adaptation until now. I love it. So they really mirrored each other, I feel like, and that might be one of the other reasons why I really love it. But the reason I really, really, really loved it, besides Sophie and Benedict, is all the other storylines. I loved all of the other character storylines. I felt they were strong. I felt like they were interesting. I felt like it wasn't like when those scenes were happening, I was like, oh, please get back to Benedict and Sophie. I was invested in all of those storylines, like 100%. The Mondridges, can I just tell you, happy Black History Month to the Mondridges, okay? Because they were killing it this whole season. I loved how they were so involved. I loved how they were so strong. I love how they were like the most reasonable people in the whole show all season. Alice, get your flowers, girl, because you were killing it. As a lady in waiting, you were killing it, okay? Her husband, he's always killing it. He's so like supportive and funny, and I loved how he gave the best advice to Benedict out of everyone he talked to. Out of Violet, well, she came around eventually. Out of Anthony, he came around eventually. Well, literally at the end. Out of everyone that he spoke to, Mr. Mondridge gave the best advice. Like, he literally gave the best advice. I loved them this season. I loved them so much. So their storyline was fabulous. I loved Penelope's whistle down storyline. Her kind of like push pull, her not enjoying it anymore and seeing the damage it was doing and how powerful it was and just not wanting to be that anymore. I loved her resolution, and I will talk about the ending at the end of the video. Okay. And then, so that storyline I thought was strong. I thought it was great. The Lady Danbury and Queen Charlotte storyline broke my heart into a million pieces. I love their friendship. When they fought, I could not take it. I was bawling. I don't know why that made me so emotional. It did. It really, really did. I love them so much. And you know what it is? It's just they kept showing that portrait of young Charlotte and young Lady Danbury. And it kept bringing me back to Queen Charlotte's season. And it just made me cry. It just made me cry. Just thinking about all the stuff they went through back in the day. And how they were now. And how Charlotte really just did not want to let her go. She did not want anything to change. Which I get. But like at the same time, Lady Danbury earned her rest. Okay? So I'm glad that they were able to resolve, but I was crying and laughing, but I was crying, especially in that scene where Lady Danbury was like, but we're friends. And she was like, I'm your queen. And she's like, so I'm just a subject to you. And she's like, you are my subject. And it just threw me right back to Queen Charlotte. And I'm sure other people have made this. I'm positive they made this connection. But in Queen Charlotte, after Charlotte and George get married and she's thinking, oh, we're going to have our honeymoon. We're going to be together, blah, blah, blah. And they get to the house and he's like, all right, you're here and I'm leaving. And she's like, what? I thought we were going to be together. And she calls him George and he's like, I'm your king. And then she's like, oh, it's like that. And she like, sorry, I forgot my place. It just completely mirrored. And you can tell that that's what broke Charlotte when she was talking to Danbury, when she realized that she did the same thing to Danbury that George did to her back in the day. I think it like clicked. Because I feel like most of the time, Queen Charlotte, who I love, I feel like most of the time she's like just above it because she's like out of it. She's isolated. She's out of it. So I feel like she's not realistic in what she thinks about. So in her interactions, because she's so like, she's a queen. I mean, she doesn't have to think about anybody else but herself. So I feel like when she has those interactions, they kind of ground her, and it really just, it was perfect. Oh, and then I love Brimsley talking to Lady Danbury telling her, like, please go talk to the queen. She's so sad without you. I love that. I love Brimsley so much. Um, so what else? Okay, so the Lady Danbury and Charlotte storyline, perfect. Violet Bridgerton. Miss Bridgerton, please come to the front. Come to the front, ma'am. Girl, you were not playing when you said you were trying to water and tend your garden. You were not playing, girl. Miss, I will never look at a teacup again the same way, okay? Miss, I am the tea that you are having. Girl, what? Her and Lord Anderson were killing it, okay? I love their storyline. I loved it. I also, it broke my heart because, like, if you watched at the end, well, okay, so if you watched, you know that they decided to move into a little affair, and then they're enjoying it. She's enjoying it. He loves her. He says he loves her. She's worried, obviously, about her kids finding out. Benedict clearly knows because he's had a bunch of affairs. He recognizes the interactions. He could see the writing on the wall. So when she confronts him about Sophie, he confronts her about Lord Anderson, and she's like, oh. So it kind of spooks her a little bit. And even though Lord Anderson loves her, she doesn't want to hide their relationship, or she feels like it's wrong, obviously, because they're hiding it from her kids and from everyone. So he said he wants to marry her, and she says yes. And then she changes her mind by the end of the season. Not changes her mind, she does care about him, but she realizes that she's been a wife and a mother for her whole adult life. And now that she's finally, it's not that she doesn't want to be with him, but she's not ready to be a wife again in this moment of like her rediscovering her freedom and herself, who she was when she's not a wife and a mother. She's always going to be a mother. She's always going to be Mama Bridgerton, but like, you know what I mean? When she's not a wife, she's just rediscovering that side of herself. So she doesn't want to get married yet. And I feel so bad because you can tell Lord Anderson was so heartbroken. And I feel so bad for him because Lady Danbury's leaving. I don't know if he's going to go with her. They didn't say if he went with her because he's heartbroken or not. I guess we'll find out next season. So that storyline, while perfect and I loved it, broke my heart a little bit. Eloise, claps and snaps for Miss Eloise because she had some of the most growth this season that I've ever expected from that character. Eloise is my favorite Bridgerton. Benedict's my favorite male Bridgerton, but Eloise is my favorite Bridgerton overall. I literally named my cat after her, okay? I love Eloise. If I was back in Regency days, I would be Eloise. Her like snarky comments, her not wanting to do any of the stuff, that's me, okay? So I love Eloise. I love everything about her. I know she has her selfish moments, and you can tell this season that in the beginning she still had her selfish moments. Her coming back thinking, oh, I'm brilliant, I'm going to be a spinster, I'm on the shelf. Girl, what? And then how she treated Hyacinth, her little sister, was selfish. But at the same time, siblings are like that. They're not thinking about their other siblings, they're thinking about themselves. So I have to say, seeing Eloise go from F marriage, I'm on the shelf, I'm a spinster, I'm cool with it, to how she grew between realizing finally when Hyacinth confronts her about the fact that she is self-obsessed and absorbed and doesn't care about anyone but herself and calls her on it. From that moment, her trying to make up with Hyacinth, her trying to help Cressida, spoiler alert, Cressida's back and killing it, trying to help Cressida, trying to help Benedict, trying to help Penelope, trying to help Posey, trying to help everyone, and by the end of it, helping Hyacinth realize that marriage is not like terrible. How she was trying to convince Hyacinth that like she was being extra and marriage is not everything. I feel like you see the most growth from Eloise this season, which is why I'm so fingers crossed hoping that season 5 is Eloise's season. But I don't know. I feel like it could go one of two ways. It could either be Eloise or it could be Francesca. And that's the next person I want to talk about, Francesca. I sobbed. I sobbed like a big fat old baby. Hannah Dodd, girl, the actress that plays Francesca, she killed it. I don't know if Bridgerton would get nominated for anything. She freaking killed it, okay? When I tell you, Francesca's quiet, unassuming, whatever, and all season from the start of her trying to find out what a pinnacle was. If I hear the word pinnacle out in the real world somewhere, I'm gonna laugh forever because the way they were using that word and the way no one would help her and tell her what the hell that was until finally Penelope did. Her storyline just broke my heart. Even reading the books and knowing what was going to happen broke my heart. I could not. She's so sweet and so just she's just so sweet. And then her and John, they were so cute and like just those moments between them, and then the kind of like friction of Michaela, his cousin showing up and kind of breaking their newlywed vibe, but then them befriending each other. And spoiler, seriously, if you stayed for this whole thing, even though I told you to leave, if you haven't watched the whole thing, I'm about to spoil some big ass tea right now, okay? When John, Francesca's husband, passed away, I screamed. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I read the books. I know he dies. I'm very aware, okay? But I screamed. Her finding him, her crying. I could not, y'all. I could not. I cried. I had to pause it. I had to leave. I cried. She did so well. Just her grief and then what she had to go through afterwards to secure the estate and finding out she wasn't actually pregnant. And can I just tell you, Benedict this season, I know I'm talking about Francesca, but Benedict this season, I don't know what it is about Angry Benedict, but Angry Benedict is my favorite. I know he's all happy now because he's married and whatever to Sophie, but Angry Benedict is my favorite Benedict. When he got into that fist fight with Covenant, what's his name? What was his name? Coventry, whatever that man's name is, the creep who tried to do something to Sophie when she was a maid in his house. When he was fighting him and he said, apologize to her, I was like, oh, okay, Benedict. So Angry Benedict in that scene, and then Angry Benedict when he was standing up for Francesca when they were like when they were trying to examine her to make sure she was really pregnant, and he was like, you're not putting my sister through that. I'm tired of this. I was like, I don't know. I think it's all the books that I read with angry MMCs, male main characters. Something about Angry Benedict. Oh my God, he's my favorite. And then how he didn't let Anthony, when Anthony was trying to give him some shit, how he didn't let Anthony, he didn't back down from him. He was like, no, no. I was like, okay, Benedict. He's not just the carefree hippie that we all think he is. He is so cute. I love him. He's so cute. Okay, so back to Francesca. Her whole storyline broke my heart. How she went through her grief, how she just completely just handled that whole thing. It just made me so sad for her. She did such an amazing job this season. I was blown away. And I really especially liked the moment between Sophie and Francesca at the funeral where Sophie kind of rescued her and took her away for a minute when she was about to like break down. I really liked that moment between them. I thought it was really nice. So we talked about Francesca. We talked about Eloise. We talked about Hyacinth, who was hilarious all season. Hyacinth and Gregory always have that like little kid energy, and now they're like teenagers, and she just did such a good job of playing like that younger sister who wants to be in all the stuff. And I loved her and Eloise's interactions, just her in general. And plus, she's gorgeous. She's so cute. Her dresses were amazing. She was great this season. So I very much look forward to one day when she has her season. It's going to be a little weird because we've been watching them since they're like little kids. But by the time that happens, they're going to be full grown adults. Like, it's fine. So Hyacinth, Gregory were great. They had a lot of funny moments. I want to talk about the Penwoods now. The Penwoods, Araminta, Posey, and Rosamond, fantastic. Fantastic. And they're the reason why it was giving me Ever After so much. Because Araminta, sorry, I used Araminta as the middle finger. That was not intentional, but it's accurate. Araminta, truly evil. Had sympathetic moments, but truly, truly evil. Like, she didn't have to do all that. You didn't have to do all that, ma'am. You really didn't. You could have just stayed with your little rude daughter and gotten her married. You didn't have to do all that, okay? Rosamond was truly a B. I'm not going to call her that. But she was. She didn't have to be all rude like that. She really didn't. There was no reason. Clearly, she was jealous. And, I mean, whatever. But you don't have to be, especially not to Posey. You don't have to be rude to Posey. Posey is the sweetest person. And I love her. I think she was hilarious. She's clearly not as dumb as they were trying to make her seem, because at the end, in the last episode, when they're talking about the dowry that Araminta stole from them, she mathed it like real quick. Like, she knew what the dowry was. So she clearly, and she escaped out that window to go talk to Sophie. She clearly is not as dumb. She is naive, but she's not as dumb as she was made out to be. I loved her character. I thought she was fantastic. She's so freaking adorable. I think it was a little biased also because the actress that plays Posey, and then Yaren, who plays Sophie, were posting on Instagram videos of them dancing together, and they were so good and so funny. So I think I loved her automatically, but Posey was a great character, and I'm glad she got her happy ending. Who else did I want to talk about? I think I talked about all the main storylines. I talked about Alice being a lady in waiting, and she did a fantastic job. I loved her at the end and what she came up with. We talked about Queen Charlotte and Lady Danbury. We talked about Violet and Lord Anderson. Obviously, we talked about Sophie and Benedict. We talked about Penelope and Lady Whistledown. We'll talk about Lady Whistledown now. Now, if you watched it, you know that at the end, there is a whodunit. There is a whodunit because there is a new Lady Whistledown. Penelope said, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to write a book. So she stepped down. Only for the last episode for there to be a Lady Whistledown column that came out claiming to be a new Lady Whistledown. And if you listen to it, and I'm sure they did this intentionally because everything on Bridgerton is intentional. Julie Andrews, who does the voice, obviously, of Lady Whistledown in the reading, her inflection and how she's speaking is different. Not the proper, posh, whatever that we're used to with Lady Whistledown. So I feel like that is a hint to who it is. And I feel like also they intentionally did this season of like the upstairs, downstairs, because I feel like the Lady Whistledown character is going to be someone who is downstairs, not upstairs. I don't think it's going to be like a Cressida or a like Eloise. I don't think it's them. I think it's going to be a maid or a footman. I actually think it's a man. I would love it if it was Footman John. I love Footman John. I think he was so good. I love him. He's so personable. I forgot to talk about Alfie. I love Alfie and Sophie's relationship. I freaking love them. They're so cute. And he walked her down the aisle at the end. Why is their wedding in the credits? Like, what if I had shut it off and I didn't see? I would be so upset with myself. Anyway, I think I'm going to put my vote on it now. I think that the new Lady Whistledown is either a footman, like a man, a maid, one of the ones that was introduced, whether it be Hazel maybe, who was Sophie's friend. It's somebody obviously who can get the gossip, but people who are servants obviously get gossip. Like, you can tell in the households the freaking butlers and the housekeepers have the most gossip. They know about everyone else's household. So I feel like that's why they introduced the upstairs downstairs, because I feel like it's going to be one of them. Also, by her speech pattern, Julie Andrews, when she was doing the voiceover, it sounds like it's someone more common. My other theory is if it's not them, then I think it's going to be Mr. Mondridge. I, for some reason, feel like it's going to be a man. I don't know why. I feel like they're going Gossip Girl on this. Like, I feel like, and if I'm just spoiled Gossip Girl for you after this many years, I'm sorry, but I'm not. I feel like Lady Whistledown, the next one, is either going to be a common person or it's a man, like straight up. So it could be Mondridge, it could be Footman John, it could be, I don't think it's Colin. It could be, I don't know, but I think it's a man. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe, but I feel like it's a man. So let me know if you agree in the comments, but I feel like that's what it is. The only other thing that I wanted to talk about is obviously all of the babies. I want to talk about Edmund. How did they cast the perfect Jonathan Bailey, Simone Ashley crossover baby? Like, Edmund, so freaking cute. He was so freaking cute. So I love the scenes with them and the baby. I love Colin and Penelope's baby, Elliot. So cute. Also perfect. Redhead, chubby, chubby, chubby. Oh, he was so cute. I can't. So that is all fun. I just enjoyed the season immensely. I cried, and that should be like bad. I actually have a headache from crying so much. But the best shows touch you emotionally, and this hit all of my points. It made me happy, it made me sad, it made me angry, it made me all over the place. So I loved everything about it. I will finally say, we can talk about Bridgerton as much as you want now. So if you have questions about what I thought about anything and I didn't mention it, or if you want me to go in another video episode by episode, we could totally do that, because the video right now is 27 minutes and that's a long ass video, so I'm not going to continue. I will just say something that I have not mentioned until now, because it wasn't even the most important thing, but the spicy scenes. The fact that they kissed as soon as they met, not as soon as they met, but they kissed the first episode at the ball, loved it. The fact that I saw Benedict's butt so many times, loved it. No, but the scene with them on the staircase, the scene when they actually finally, like, did the deed, they were going at it. It was crazy. The scene in the bathtub, I was just like blown away. It was, you know what? Their chemistry was just so strong. It was so good. And it wasn't even like, there weren't even that many spicy scenes, truthfully. I didn't care. It was just like the romance between them. It was so good. And they're literally my favorite. This is my favorite season besides Queen Charlotte. Okay, so this is the distinction. My actual favorite Bridgerton season is this one. Queen Charlotte is not official Bridgerton series, so they can both be number one in my heart. I loved it. I'm gonna watch it all the time. It's like how people rewatch Heated Rivalry, also amazing. And I just want to say Connor Story did an amazing job on SNL. I know it has nothing to do with Bridgerton, but it was on my mind. He did an amazing job. I knew he was gonna be amazing, but I knew he was gonna be one of those hosts that's like Ariana Grande or like Sabrina Carpenter, who's like perfect and funny, and like he was great. And I loved that Hudson Williams showed up. I knew he would because they're besties, but I love their friendship so much. And just Connor did an amazing job. So overall, this whole weekend, amazing. I am talked out. I'm never Bridgertoned out, but today was amazing. I loved watching Bridgerton all day. It was so good. And I'm just going to rewatch it a million times and cry a million times and look for as many Easter eggs as I can. I loved everything about it. I'm going to shut up now. I'm not even going to do an ASMR moment of the day because I need to go and I've been talking for 30 minutes now. So I'm just going to say thank you so much for coming to talk about Bridgerton with me. Like I said, leave me your thoughts and comments and what you think. What season is your favorite? What couple is your favorite? In the comments down below. I want to know about it, and we'll be doing this again soon. I want to talk about episode by episode. I definitely want to do that. So yeah, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.